So to start us off, I was just going to ask you to sort of explain currently how the marijuana economy works in the United States. So, like, federally, what are sort of the legal standards right now, and then how is it possible that there are currently some people who are growing and distributing marijuana?
So right now, marijuana is a Schedule 1 drug, which means it's prohibited to be grown, distributed, or sold, or possessed. It has no recognized medical value on a federal level, and it's, like I said, illegal to do anything with. Any economy that exists has sort of developed legally in spite of that in places like Colorado and Washington, and then developed illegally in spite of that pretty much everywhere. I mean, you can go into your, average American high school, public or private, and there'll be someone selling marijuana somewhere. On a national level, there are still no standards whatsoever. Right now, the U.S. government is just taking a hands-off approach to regulating this burgeoning industry, because in order to regulate it in any real way, it would have to do away with a host of laws that have been developed over the last half century or so, and would have to federally recognize that there is some kind of legal economy. The only real policy that the U.S. government is carrying out is, like I said, keeping a hands-off approach, having people like Eric Holder and his Department of Justice say, we're going to sort of let these experiments in Colorado and Washington play out and, see where it goes. And, supplementary announcements saying things like, if a bank wants to process money that's come from the, sale of marijuana, either wholesale, at retail, or, for medicinal purposes in any way, then, they won't be prosecuted.
And so then what is sort of the legal standards right now in Colorado and Washington?
In Colorado and Washington, marijuana is legal to, with appropriate licensing, grow, distribute, and sell, both for medicinal purposes and recreational purposes. And it's legal without any permit to buy, possess, use, and I forget the exact plant limits, but grow on your own to a certain extent. So it's legal.
And then in a place like California where you have marijuana legal for medicinal purposes, is it sort of just like, how is like growth regulated there, if at all, and how do those legal loopholes sort of work?
Under California state law, there are certain businesses that are licensed to grow and distribute marijuana, and then on a personal level, there's also a system by which you can get, an ID card to buy it, which, as everyone knows in common wisdom, tells us isn't that hard to do, because there's a very long list of acceptable, maladies and diseases that one can have, everything from, chronic pain and really severe anxiety, that can qualify you to access that market.
And so you've written an article looking at what the future of a marijuana economy and the marijuana market in the U.S. could be and is projected to look like. And so is there a trend of legalization, and sort of how quickly is that moving in both the state and federal level?
You know what? I read something just the other day. I don't know what like back of the envelope math was done, but someone said something like 14 states are going to have legal marijuana available by the end of the 2020 election cycle. So by November, 2020, when President Rand Paul or President Hillary Clinton's up for re-election, there will be 14 states where marijuana will be legal to grow, sell, buy, possess, use, the whole 9 yards. Whether or not that's exactly true, I don't know. I mean, these things, like all social change, they come in waves, and it's really hard to put an exact number on it. But I think everyone understands very clearly now that the tide is towards legalization. It was last October when the Pew Center released that now infamous study showing that a majority of Americans supported legalizing marijuana. I think it was actually 58%. On top of that, I believe it was something like 67% of young Americans, so I think age 18 to 29, supported legalizing it. So every year there are just hundreds of thousands, I don't know, 1 million, 2 million, however many, coming onto the voter rolls that are in support of changing this policy. It'll be legal, in my opinion, on a federal level eventually. Exactly how long I can't say, but it is coming.